Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, As-salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We continue our topic of rules for words ending with a mad letter, and today, inshallah, we will discuss when the words are ending with an alif mad. As we have discussed in our last lecture, the general rule for words ending with a ya mad or waw mad or alif mad, they remain the same in the recitation of Hafs and Asim. However, there are some words ending with an alif mad that have special marking other than those words that have that special indication. Hafs stops on words according to the writing of the Quran. There are two different markings over some letters in the Quran. The first one is called as-sifr al-mustadir, or the round zero, and the symbol is this kind of circle that you can see here, where I am pointing right now. And the other one is as-sifr al-mustatil al-qa'im, the standing oblong zero, where the shape of the zero is slightly different than the round zero. So you can see here the standing oblong zero, or sifr al-mustatil, is different than sifr al-mustadir. So sifr al-mustadir, the round zero, can be found in different places in the Quran, and it can appear on waw or ya or alif. And when any of these letters have this symbol of sifr mustadir, the letter is not pronounced in any case, whether you stop or continue your recitation. Let's see some examples here. In the word ulaika, the letter waw has this round zero on the top, and instead of reciting this word like this, ulaika, we say ulaika, and there is no waw mad in the recitation. We will not recite this waw as a mad waw. We will skip this letter exactly like this. We can see in this word the round zero or sifr mustadir is on alif, and we recite this word like this, mi'ata, and there is no recitation of this alif. And in here, we can see sifr mustadir on top of letter ya, and instead of reciting this word like this, wa mala'ihi, we say wa mala'ihi, and we do not recite ya as a mad letter, whether we continue or stop. But here, we need to note down one point. The sign of sukoon or jazm can sometimes look like round zero if you are reading from an electronic device, but in the printed copy of the Quran, there is a clear difference between the symbol of a sukoon and sifr mustadir. So whenever you find this sifr mustadir on any of these letters, alif, waw, or ya, the letter is not pronounced in any case. Now let's note two special cases where the alif is written but dropped in the recitation, whether we continue or stop. And the symbol of sifr mustadir, the round zero, is written over alif to indicate that the letter is not pronounced. One of them is the word qawarira in Suratul Insan, ayah number 16. And you can see here, this word ends with an alif that has a sign of sifr mustadir, which is this round zero on the top. This alif is never pronounced as a mad letter. We do not recite this alif with two counts of maddu tabi'i when continuing or stopping. It is always pronounced with a fatha on letter ra when we continue our recitation, and when we choose to stop, we stop with a sakin ra. So upon stopping, this is how we will recite qawarir, and upon continuation, this is how we will recite qawarira. And this also applies to the word Samuda in these ayat, in Suratul Hud, ayah number 68, in Suratul Furqan, ayah number 38, in Suratul Ankabut, ayah number 38, in Suratul Najm, ayah number 51, and everywhere you can see the word Samuda is written in a way that there is an alif after it with sifr mustadir on the top. So upon stopping on the word, we will give letter dal with a sukoon like this, Thamud. And upon continuation, we will recite letter dal with the fatha, Thamuda. And there will be no two counts of maddu tabi'i, Thamuda, like this. So in case of stopping, we will stop like this, Thamud. And in case of continuation, Thamuda, letter dal with the fatha upon continuation. So in both of these cases, Alif is written but dropped in our recitation, whether we continue or stop, and the symbol of Sifar Mustadir, the round zero, is written over Alif to indicate that this letter is not pronounced. The second marking to be noted is Sifar al Mustatilul Qa'im, the standing oblong zero, and this is the symbol that you see on the top of Alif, that this circle is slightly oblong and different than Sifar Mustadir. This marking is found on some Alifat, famously known as Al Alifaat Sab'a or seven Alifat. These Alifat are at the end of a word, and the following word starts with a vowel letter. And when we see this marking, we read the Alif when stopping on this word, but eliminate the Alif in pronunciation when continuing the recitation. These seven Alifat are found in the following seven words. And now, inshallah, we will discuss them one by one and see how to recite them upon continuation and stopping both. And the first of them is the word ana. Whenever it occurs in the Quran and you see Alif has a sign of oblong zero like this, upon stopping on this word, we recite Alif Mad with two counts of Maddu Tabi'i, but upon continuing the recitation with the following part, there is no Alif in the recitation and we recite letter Noon with a Fatha only. So upon stopping, we will recite it like this, Ana. And upon continuation, we will recite like this, Ana. The next word, lakinna, appears in Suratul Kahf, ayah number 38. And here again, you can see the sign of oblong zero on letter Alif, which indicates that upon stopping, we will recite this Alif with two counts of Maddu Tabi'i, but upon continuing the recitation and not stopping on this word, we will recite letter Noon with a shadda that has a fatha. So upon stopping, we will recite it like this, lakinna. And upon continuation, lakinna. The next word, al-dhununa, appears in Suratul Ahzab, ayah number 10. And when we choose to stop on this word, as we can see the sign of oblong zero on letter Alif, we give two counts of Maddu Tabi'i upon stopping, and upon continuation, we will recite letter Noon with a Fatha. So upon stopping, we will recite it like this, al-dhununa. And upon continuation, al-dhununa. And the next word is ar-rasula, that appears in Suratul Ahzab, ayah number 66. And you can see the sign of oblong zero on letter Alif, which indicates that we recite this Alif upon stopping with two counts of Maddu Tabi'i like this, ar-rasula. But upon continuing the recitation on this word, letter Lam is recited with a Fatha only like this, ar-rasula. In the next word, as-sabila, that appears in Surah Al-Ahzab, ayah number 67. As we see here again, the letter Alif has the sign of the oblong zero. And again here, upon stopping the recitation, we will recite Alif Mad with two counts of Maddu Tabi'i like this, as-sabila. And upon continuing the recitation with the following part, we will recite the word where Lam only has a fatha and there is no two counts like this, as-sabila. The next word, qawarira. This word which appears in Surah Al-Insan, ayah number 15, has a different rule for alif than the word that appears in ayah number 16 of Surah Al-Insan. And we have discussed that word while mentioning the two special cases where Sifar Mustadir appears on alif. And as we know, when Sifar Mustatir appears on any letter, we drop that letter upon continuation or stopping on that word. But in ayah number 15, when the word qawarira appears, you can see letter alif has an O belong 0. So here, upon stopping, we give alif mad 2 counts of maddu tabi'i and recite it like this. Qawarira. But upon continuing the recitation, and if we want to join verse number 15 with verse number 16, because qawarira is the last word of ayah number 15. So if you want to join verse number 15 with verse number 16, then upon continuing the recitation, we do not recite alif here. We drop alif upon continuation and recite the word like this. Qawarira. And the last one is the word salasila, which appears in Surah Al-Insan, ayah number 4. And there are two ways to stop on this word when reading with Hafsun Asim Tariqatu Shatibiyya. One of them is reading the alif at the end with the 2 counts of maddu tabi'i, and the other one is by dropping the alif mad and stopping on the letter lam with a sukoon. So that's why this alif here does not carry the marking of O belong 0, but it carries the marking of round 0, because there are two possible ways to stop here. So the first way is, if we are choosing to stop here, we can recite it like this, salasil. And the other way to stop here is salasila. And both of them are allowed in Hafsun Asim Tariqatu Shatibiyya. But upon continuation, we will not recite alif mad and we will recite it like this, salasila. So other than these words that have special indication, Hafs stops on words according to the writing in the Quran. And lastly, there are 3 places in the Quran where the alif of Ya ayyuha or ayyuha is not written, and it appears in Surah An-Nur, ayah number 31, Surah Al-Zukhruf, ayah number 49, and Surah Al-Rahman in ayah number 31, where you can see the word ayyuha or Ya ayyuha is written without letter alif at the end. And therefore, Hafs and Asim stops on these words with the ha sakina, and we do not recite alif here. So in short, if the mad letter is not present in the written copy of the Quran, the mad letter is dropped in pronunciation when continuing or stopping when we are reciting with Hafsun Asim Tariqatu Shatibiyya, with the few exceptions that we have discussed in our lesson. That's all in the topic of stopping on the words that have a weak ending. Insha'Allah, we will continue this lesson to discuss the rules of stopping on the words that have a strong ending. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.